Hi guys, and welcome back to another sprue build video. So I'm going to take these Warhammer 40k Sprues and turn them to something a bit more useful rather than just sitting around gathering dust or in a box somewhere. So yeah, I've done a lot of videos where I've turned sprues into things, and something I've always wanted to do, and that is make a SPRUECRON army. So yeah, good old Necrons, kind of like robot looking things I guess. I've never really played these, which is why I'm going to use these reference pictures, and I'm going to make 3 sort of SPRUECRONs in this video. Starting with, well, the kind of like regular soldier looking one. But like I do with any project with sprues, the first thing I need to do is, well, get the sprues and then get them ready so I can make things out of them. And typically what I like to do is take away the insert or the inside bit just to leave obviously the lovely outer edge. This is going to have all the, well, the nice straight bits. I mean, there are a few straight bits in the centre, which we can possibly have a go at getting later on. But yeah, initially I like to get the edges just because that is where the straighter bits are. So with the sprues, I use all the bits. So in this case, I'm going to cut off obviously these corners. So they're going to be kept, and well, you'll see them used in this video as well. But obviously it's these long lengths that I really like. So yeah, it's just a case of taking off the edges. And then obviously these the actual sprues themselves, I want to tidy them up or clean them up. Basically by taking off all the nibbly knobbly bits. So yeah, all these bits that are sticking off, yeah, they need to come off. I do love this stuff because the plastic is very soft, so it's easy to cut with snips and with a blade. So all the bits that get cut off, yeah, they get used for a variety of other things. But what I do like on these sprues is these little cylindrical things or round things or whatever they are. Yeah, I've used these in the past for rivets. So yeah, it's worth keeping them bits. You'll see later on, I kind of have a bits box, or I guess it's a sprue bits box. So all these little bits, yeah, I keep. And any bits that I don't sort of use or can't see what I'm going to use them for, then they go in a good old jar of acetone and turned into ooey gooey spruey stuff. Again, you'll see some of that later on in this video as well. So that's most of the nibbly knobbly bits taken off, but you can still smooth these down just a little bit by dragging or scraping your blade over the edge. And as you can see, yeah, it just shaves off little bits. So a good way of getting these sprues to be, well, as neat and clean as you can. This just makes things a lot easier later on. So kind of I do this with all of them. It's a bit messy, a bit time consuming. But again, like I always say with this hobby, it doesn't really matter about the time. It's just a hobby to enjoy. So it's worth messing about, doing something that takes a long time, pretty tedious now. But it does mean then I've then got loads of great usable bits of sprue. So say yeah, all these little shavings, you'll see me put some of these in the bits box because I'll be use these for bases. But in this one, yeah, most of the stuff is just going to go back in this jar. And with this jar, what I often get asked is how long can the stuff stay in there? I think when I was making a lot of sprue videos, the longest I had stuff in a jar was about 6 months. It was still usable, but it was a lot firmer. Whereas when this stuff is like this, nice and sort of newish, yeah, it's very gooey, which is why obviously I call it ooey gooey spruey stuff. Anyway, enough of that. So that gets put in there. We'll leave that to, well, turn later. So these end bits, yeah, again, I'm going to take off any little nibbly knobbly bits that are on these because I want these to be nice and neat. And you'll see me use them, well, for the shoulders. That'll be coming up, well, very soon. So some of the sprues I do have, well, bigger looking sort of circle bits, which is cool. So them smaller ones are good for rivets, but these higher ones, well, these I'm going to use for the heads on the SPRUECRONs. Just because obviously they are nice and bigger. And this is where each sprue sort of has different bits and pieces on it to sort of take off. Again, I like taking all these bits off and, well, sticking them in my little bits box to see if I can use them in other builds. So guys, if there's anything you want to see me build, by all means, I think at the end of the video I will leave a link to my playlist of all the things that I've currently built so far with sprues. So yeah, go check that out, have a look, see all the kind of things that can be made and certainly is possible. And yeah, anything you want to see me have a go at making with sprues, again, yeah, let me know in the comments, because what I'm going to try and do is at least one sprue video every week. So yeah, I'm getting back into making things with sprues, mainly because, well, I've got loads of sprues now. Now I've been getting through quite a lot of the Warhammer stuff that I've got. Yeah, again, I don't like wasting stuff. It's all about fun as well, seeing what is possible and what can be made, yeah, with something that you'd normally leave in a box or throw in a bin. And talking to boxes, yeah, this is the start of my sprue bits box. As you can see, there's only a few bits in here at the moment, but it soon will have lots more. So yeah, so all these bits I'm cutting off, again, they might be useful for, well, other projects that I can't even think of right now. So this other sprue, this round one, yeah, this was from the new Kill Team sort of starter box, where each individual model came on their own sprue. So I'm going to chop them up and use them as well. And yeah, I'm going to put them in with the other sort of goo that I've got. And yeah, so these do feel like a bit of a different kind of plastic. They feel a bit shinier, but we'll see. Well, we'll see how well they dissolve and how well I can use them for making things. So I'll be doing some videos soon where I will be using the sprue goo, as I want to make, well, a whole variety of Warhammer terrain to show you what sort of the possibilities are. So even with the shavings, like I was saying, yeah, I did a video recently where I made 5 different bases using sort of leftover bits of sprue. So yes, it's worth keeping these little bits, again, just for sort of debris, terrain, and again, anything that's different, yeah, I'm going to keep that in a box as well. So I'm going to put these on bases, well, just because obviously they're not going to go on clear ones. These are going to be full Games Workshop miniatures, so everything I'm using is, well, Games Workshop. So I'm going to build these miniatures up, and I'm going to build them up from their feet upwards. Just I think this will make it a lot easier for me to try and get the right size and scale. So I've made a lot of things with sprues, but this is probably one of the smallest kind of things I've made. So yeah, trying to make it so it is going to be 32mm sort of roughly in height is a little bit tricky. As is when you cut the sprues, yeah, these things, they fly off sometimes. So yes, it's a case of trying to find them. Well, it's like it's a Lego. You find them when you step on them. So yeah, again, this is nice and easy to cut. So I've got a new blade here, nice flat edge one, which is obviously a lot easier for me to use. I can just put some weight at the back of it and push down, and yeah, cuts through like butter. So the good thing, yeah, love using this kind of the glue, the cement glue, mainly because obviously it doesn't stick your fingers together, and it does give you some working time, as it's not instant. But when it does dry, obviously it's a nice, good old fit, because it basically dissolves or melts parts of the plastic into other bits. But say for me, it's great because it means my fingers aren't going to get stuck, and I do have time to move things about. So yeah, again, this little box is great having these bits all cut up ready. So if I was to make loads of these soldiers, I would literally, well, I sort of like mass produce them. I would cut up loads of bits for the feet, loads of bits for the legs, arms, etc. And then like have a little assembly line. So yeah, I'm using them round little discs as sort of knee joints, elbow joints, that kind of thing. So it really was a case of just working from the bottom upwards. I did have a little miniature beside me, which you'll see in a minute, just because I wanted to use that as a, well, comparison. Because it'd be so easy to start building this, and it turned out to be sort of twice the size that it should be. Again, I've made a lot of things with sprues, but most of them have been rather large. Like the towel manta I made, as well as the sort of the stomper. So that was quite a large sort of miniature. So yeah, it's just a case of, say, making each little bit separately. I've tried to make this so it doesn't look too simple, but if I did want to make, say, an army of these, or at least like a kill team, then it wouldn't take me too long to sort of like duplicate the process of what I am doing. Some bits are obviously trickier than others to try and get to glue, or get them sort of stuck together. So obviously, because I wasn't too sure how tall to make him, that's why I've left the long sort of sprue there, but now I can sort of roughly cut it where I think it should go, for like the top of his shoulders. So one of the first things I ever made with sprues, and this is probably, well, about 4 years ago I think, was the good old Great Unclean one. So it was a nice sized sort of creature, so a lot easier to make than little SPRUECRONs, because it was quite a big thing. But yeah, I made one about 4 years ago, but that was when I didn't like painting. So I enjoyed making the thing, but yeah, didn't like the painting, didn't enjoy how it looked or anything. So I might actually have a go at making another Great Unclean one, now that my painting is a whole lot better. So yeah, keep an eye out for that video. As I say, anything you want to see me have a go at making with sprues, yeah, let me know. Because I did get to a stage where I kind of felt like I could almost make anything and everything out of them. But say, especially the bigger things, it's so much easier. But yeah, definitely enjoying this SPRUECRON one. So this is one, or something I've been wanting to make for quite some time. Not sure why, I never really got round to it, but yeah, like everything, I do get distracted easily with other projects. So as much as I want to do things, yeah, something else comes along. So I'm making a little sort of breastplate for him, although it's rather large. So you'll see me put it on him, but then a bit later on in the video, you'll see me take it off. So it's one of those things where I made it, and it was kind of bugging me that it looked too big. So yeah, rather than leaving it, I did sort of scrape the thing off. So for the head, using one of those long or longer rounder bits, and then there's also another little sort of dimple bit that I kind of stick on the bottom of his chin. Again, I want to try and keep it relatively simple. If I did want to make loads, then yeah, it'll be simple enough. So this is his little head. So this is almost like a sort of template for how I'm going to make, well, the others as well. But say, obviously this is the first one of me ever making this. I may well give it a couple of months and then make some more of these. Hopefully better, because obviously we sort of learn by our mistakes and just learn and generally get better by repetition. So yeah, I may well make some more SPRUECRONs later on. Maybe make them a little bit different. Try and sculpt more into them. So the good thing though with these Necrons is because they are like robots. Yeah, having blocky parts doesn't seem too bad at all. And again, using these sort of discs as well, joints, just to help with the sort of movement and the like. So one dilemma I did have though when I was making these was I wasn't too sure whether or not to paint them at the end. What do you guys reckon? Should I paint them or not paint them? Obviously stick around, see to the end, and you'll see whether I do or don't paint them. Because whenever I've looked for SPRUECRONs online, they've always obviously been left in, well, just the normal grey plastic, so you can see exactly that they are made, well, from sprues. So yeah, again, being able to cut this stuff so easy is really cool. So yes, I'll just cut a couple of thin bits there to try and make kind of hands in a kind of way. So yeah, these little bits, yeah, going to cut these down a little bit, and these are going to go on the back. Again, that's why having that little bits box of sprue bits will make sort of production of making loads of things real easy, because they're already sort of cut and ready to go in my little box, which is great. And the other good thing is, again, no parts of the sprue get wasted. They'll all be used in some sort of area, so whether it's going onto the figure itself or just being turned into good old sprue goo. So yeah, some bits obviously a bit tricky to try and line up, but again, that's why I do like using the cement glue, because it does give you time to sort of move things here and there. Again, I do probably need to get better blades as well, so I can get some nice, sharper, cleaner cuts. Well, that's my excuse anyway for the bits looking a little bit dodgy. So there we go. He's coming along quite nicely. So he's just going to be like a bog standard, normal kind of soldier. So this is where I kept looking at him. I kept looking at that chest plate, and it was like, yeah, that thing's too big. But so this is where this glue does take obviously a bit longer to dry, but when it does dry, because it kind of melts the plastic into itself, it really does give a very good bond. So I kept humming and hard about how I was going to do this, and in the end it was like, just get in there. If bits fall off, because they will in a second, yeah, I just couldn't live with the chest plate looking, well, it was a whole body plate rather than the chest plate. So I did persevere, and I got the sucker off, and then yeah, cut it down. And then the last thing to make for this dude is his gun. Yeah, if you've been watching my sort of community posts, you'll have seen me recently post about asking if anyone had any of the green sort of clear sprues, as I wanted to use them for parts of the gun. Yeah, I did order one on eBay. Unfortunately, good old Royal Mail took well, over a week to deliver it, so it actually arrived this morning. So I made these 3 SPRUECRONs up, and then literally they've been sitting on my desk waiting and waiting for the green sprues to turn up, which yeah, they literally turned up this morning. So they've turned up, I quickly finished them, and obviously now I'm, well, editing the video. So yeah, each of them are going to start off in a similar kind of way, with their heads, their sort of main torso. So there's obviously the nice theme pattern there. Once I've made one, that I can just use that as a reference to make the others, even though they are going to have, well, different bits on them. So yeah, this is the well, the 3-legged looking chap. Again, sorry guys, when it comes to Necrons, I have no idea which ones are called which. I know the last one I do is a Lord, but yeah, these other ones I have no idea. Although the more I seem to be doing things with Necrons, the more yeah, I definitely like the look of them. Obviously, definitely Terminator sort of look, but yeah, I might need to sort of get a proper box of Necrons, and yeah, do a little kill team with them, because I am getting back into doing more sort of kill team bits and pieces, and I certainly can't wait to get hold of the new Orc kill team set that's out there, which looks really good, especially as it's a smaller team. I think it's something like 6 Orcs and 2 Squigs, the old bombs. I think so. But yeah, so that should be hopefully getting on my desk relatively soon, and I'll be painting that bad boy up. So yeah, so this guy, I don't know what he's called, but yeah, it certainly looks cool. I'm guessing he must be some sort of boss because he's on a bigger base, and he definitely looks, well, looks meatier and chunkier than some of the others. So yeah, again, all the parts very similar, like the arms, exactly how I did the arms on the first dude. Maybe a little bit bigger because this guy is a bit bigger. Plus, he has these lovely sort of glowing green, kind of like blades on his arm. But again, so when I was making all this, it was a case of I knew where I was going to put the weapons and how they were going to look. I just needed to wait for, well, green sprues. So there's 2 done, and yeah, the next one. So again, starting very same with the main sort of body shape there. Yeah, the right size breastplate. Again, the more I make of these, the easier and quicker it'll be. And yeah, they should look better each and every time. I know someone did mention about me making a sniper one up. I didn't get time to actually check out what one of these ones look like as a sniper, but I definitely will. I was considering actually getting the well, the kill team box and duplicating each and every one of those, I guess. So the great thing again with the sprues, yeah, sometimes if you want to make something and it be a lot thicker, then you can just glue a couple of sprues together. So you'd have seen me do this in one of the base videos that I recently sort of published. Again, I've forgotten what these called. Are these just crystals? I think they're crystals. They pop out from the ground. So yeah, very easy to make. Just 2 sprues stuck together, and then kind of like sharpen it as though you're doing a pencil, I guess. So very easy, very good, and quick, which is what I kind of like. So yeah, stick them down the base. The reason I'm sticking these down, again, because I'm kind of like building the Lord one from his feet upwards. But I want to have him in a little pose where he's got 1 foot up on a crystal. So that's why obviously crystals are going in first. And put the crystals on some of the other bases. Again, just to sort of finish them off and make them look more, well, more Necron-y, I guess. Because I think these are kind of bases. The crystals, again, I don't really know much about what I'm talking about. You guys might know more. Yeah, sometimes I do get a bit impatient with these things and move them before they're fully dried, which is obviously always a bit difficult because I do get, yeah, I sort of like crack on sometimes and waiting for paint to dry or glue. Yeah, don't always have the patience. So again, these sprues, yeah, so nice, so easy to cut into nice thin little bits. So these are for the, I'm not too sure what it's called, that little thing that he's got sort of trailing in the front of him. Part of his outfit, I guess. I'm not too sure, but yeah, chop up loads of these and then they can just be glued together. So I've got them on some greaseproof paper, just because obviously this will make it a lot easier to glue them together and nothing's going to get stuck to anything else. Not that this, obviously, the cement glue will stick pretty much anything else to anything else. It is only really good for this sort of plastic. But yeah, making like a little train out of these dudes. And then while I'm waiting for that to dry, yeah, I can try and attempt to put some little fingers on this chap. Again, it's quite difficult to do things too small, because generally, say when you try and cut things off sprues, the amount of times they just ping off. So yes, cutting real small things off, it's difficult to make sure they don't just disappear. So for this guy, he's got like a wizarding sort of staff. So again, using these cylindrical bits. And then just placing a small thin cut bit in the middle just to make it, well, a bit of texture to it. And again, nice and simple, but yeah, quite effective. Looks not too bad. Again, this is never going to be as good as obviously buying the proper sort of Necrons. This is just for fun, guys. But I guess if you wanted to go to a proper tournament, I can't see why they wouldn't let you play, because this is well, it's all GW stuff. But yeah, this is sort of purely mainly for fun, really, and to see, yeah, what I can sort of do and make. So his little front dress chain thing, well, whatever it is dried, so we can stick that to him. Yeah, doesn't come out too bad at all. So this guy has a cool looking cape. So yeah, I wanted to kind of make something similar for him to wear, and doing it again with the small little bits cut up, and then yeah, gluing them all together. Obviously this is speeded up quite a lot, because these were kind of reasonably tricky to move around. But again, I think this turned out really well, and you'll see me do something very similar to this in the video with the bases, as this does make for sort of cool looking cobblestone. So the other good thing is, obviously this is still relatively sort of, well, hasn't dried or hardened, So it is easy to manipulate, move, and hopefully make it look like it's more of a cape that's kind of flowing. And there we go. Yeah, they are ready to do something more with. I did hum and ha, and in the end I thought, yeah, I'm going to paint these. Not going to do a lot of painting to them, but just a little bit to make them look, well, a bit more metallic looking. So starting with, well, painting them in a silver spray. I thought if I'm going to prime them, I may as well just prime them in the colour I want. So yeah, good old using the Colour Forge primers. Love using their stuff. There'll be links down below, guys, to everything I use. But yeah, they do a lovely looking silver. So that's why, well, paint them all silver. And yeah, there's not too many things to paint on this. I want to paint these crystals. And again, I'm going to paint them in the same way you'd have seen me do these in the video where I made the bases. So starting off, I paint them with a nice dark green. Then I use a lighter green, go around about 50% of the size of the crystal. And then try and feather it in. And again, guys, this is where I'm not very good at these kind of things, which is why I love speed paints, because they do everything for me. So yeah, the only way I kind of know of trying to feather it in is literally getting some water and watering down the bits and try and then sort of feather it, blur it, just make it softer. And then once that's dried, then yeah, again, do about 50% of that colour with a much lighter colour. So you really are just sort of getting the very bottom of these crystals, and then again trying to do a bit of the feathering. So say it's not too bad. There's probably easier ways and better ways of feathering. I just don't do it. I don't do it enough for me to try and want to get better, I guess. It's very rare and few that I do any of that. So I was going to paint these guys with some wash, because obviously I want them to make it look a bit dirtier. But I thought, nah, rather than doing a wash, let's go with some good old rust. But this time, trying to be sparing and not put too much rust on. So there's a little bit of it neat. Good old dirty down rust I'm using there. But then, yeah, lots of water to sort of move it around, dilute it lots. Definitely get it in the nooks and crannies. Oh, yeah, his arm's going to need putting back on. Again, I'm gone a bit too quick here and not let him dry fully. But yeah, so this stuff, when it dries, it'll look, it'll make them look a bit sort of older, dirtier, and there certainly will be some rusty bits. So yeah, again, makes him look a bit more metallic looking, I guess. And then to finish him off, just need to paint his cloak and a little front cloak. I've got no idea what that's meant to be, but yeah, give that a little coat of paint, and then that's him pretty much sort of done. Obviously the crystals just need to go around trying to do a finished line I can do, just using the white paint here, trying to use the edge of the brush, yeah, to get that nice thin sort of glow to the edge. And then that's then pretty much done. So basing, want to keep these fairly simple. As you can see, there's I didn't put any rubble or anything on there, but I thought I'd put that on at the end. So a bit of PVA glue, and then my very fine, well, it's kind of like sand really. Yeah, so keeping the bases simple. Well, it makes I didn't want to really distract sort of too much from the actual look of the thing. And there we go. And say, luckily enough, this morning this turned up. A bit broke, but that doesn't matter because obviously I was going to cut the thing up anyway. And like I do with all the sprues, yeah, cut the centre bits out because obviously I want the outer bits nice and neat. And I'm going to use these, say all of the SPRUECRONs that I've done. Can't even talk. Yeah, they're all going to have weapons, and they're all going to have nice glowy ones. So these big disc bits, obviously I'm not going to use them. So what I might do with them is put them in some acetone in a separate jar, just to make some nice, well, fluorescent green ooey gooey stuff. So yeah, that could look pretty cool. So yeah, I've cut the corners off, stuck them together, nice little round bit, and say this is his, well, power swords. I'm not too sure. So for the main guy, yeah, so this is what I really like the look of. Just sticking one of these in his gun really makes his plasma gun look, well, pretty cool, and I didn't have to paint anything. So yeah, I think he's probably my favourite out of all of these, just because he's the kind of guy that I'd make loads of to make like a full army. So it's good having him, well, nice and simple. And there we go, guys. So yeah, cheers for sticking around to the end. I know it's one of those longer videos, but I certainly had fun making these three little chaps. I say SPRUECRON army, something I wanted to make for a long time. Always put it off. No real reason why I put it off, but I always did. And yeah, now I've made a few bits and I really like them. I say definitely the simple soldier here at the very end with his little plasma gun. He's probably my favourite because he's, again, one that I could sort of duplicate and make quite a lot of these relatively easy. just by sort of mass producing the feet, the arms, the legs, the heads, and then yeah, a little production line sticking it all together. So guys, don't forget, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see me make out of sprues next, or if there's another SPRUECRON little chap you want to see me make, yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that cool stuff. You guys take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.